Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is TJ Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Therapy Couch Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the podcast where we talk about life, mental health, and mental wealth. I hope everybody had a good day or is having a good day. I really do appreciate this. Shouts out to everybody that may be listening on all the other platforms that we have. We're basically just going to be talking about uh, things that don't pertain to sports. So for those that may have popped in thinking we're going to be talking about sports, we're not going to be talking about on on this podcast. Uh, for those that may not know, once again, I started this podcast maybe like about a month and a half ago, and you know, my other podcast kind of takes off because of the NFL season. So I kind of just been focusing on that. But now that we're back, shouts out to the Wisdom platform. Wisdom has reached out and they decided that they wanted to carry the Therapy Couch podcast. So I really do appreciate that. We're gonna be talking about negativity, man. We're gonna be talking about negativity on this episode because we all know that life is full of it. It's full of negativity. It's full of negative things. Um, but at the same time, it's about taking the negative and turning those things into positive. I got my son as he's in here trying to shush me. How you gonna shush me on my own podcast, huh? How you gonna do that? Okay. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about negativity. And negativity, it can like creep up, into your life. Close the door, buddy. You gonna close the door for me? Thank you. Come on, close the door for me. Thank you, buddy. All right. It's never a dull moment on any podcast. You're always gonna get a cameo from the Pac-Man, but negativity can creep up in your life. It can, and it can affect the way that you think. It can affect your day to day, and it's something that constantly always seems to happen. You know, when I first started doing podcasts and first started doing broadcasting, one thing that really used to bother me was, negative thoughts, negative comments. Like after each show that I would do or any broadcast I would do, I would go to the comments to see what people were saying, and it can be a whole bunch of positive things that could have been said, but I would be fixated on that one negative thought. And it would affect me the way that I would do podcasts. It would affect me daily. And honestly, it would bring my spirits down. And I really had to wonder why that happened. Was it the comment itself, or is the fact that maybe I think about myself in a certain light? And maybe it's some soul searching that I had to do. But as I learned, I just learned that one thing was I wasn't very comfortable with myself. I don't think I had the level of love for myself that I feel like you should have. It took a lot of looking in a mirror and also just coming to grips with who I was as a person and also um, where I want to be. And it helped me out a lot. I mean, it was tough because nobody wants to really just sit there and evaluate themselves and really just look at some of the negative aspects of their life. They just don't. You don't want to do that. You don't want to spend your entire time like thinking about all the negative things about you. But sometimes it's good for you to just sit back and just think about some of those things in order for you to correct them. And once I did that, I just didn't allow those negative things to get to me because I'm so focused on the positive things that I want to do, the positive things that I want to create. If you spend most of your time looking at negative thoughts, if you spend most of your time looking at negative views, you're going to become negative yourself and you might end up second guessing yourself. That's why you have to have a certain level of love for yourself in order for you to be able to navigate through the negativity. Because number one, majority of the people that talk about you or say negative things about you don't know you. Like they don't have like interactions with you, and for those that may have some interactions with you, they may not have an appreciation for the person that you have become. And you hear that when you hear mostly negative thoughts probably from the people that's closely around you. It's probably because that person hasn't had an appreciation for your development. It's sometimes, you can be around a person so long, you only see them as one particular thing and you don't really appreciate the evolution. But there's one person that should appreciate your evolution, and that's you. And when the negative comments come up, when the negative feelings and views come up, you should have enough power and confidence in yourself to reinforce yourself and believe that those negative thoughts can't creep up and destroy you. Um, some people use negative thoughts as motivation. I know I do. Negative thoughts, sometimes it can fuel me. To work hard, to go that extra mile. But it also just makes me have an appreciation for everything that I've done, because negative thoughts sometimes can come up because you're doing everything right. And a lot of times people aren't happy with themselves. They're not happy with their life. They're not happy with the way things are going with themselves. So they try to take some of that pressure off of them and try to put it on to someone else. And you have to keep that in mind as well. But anybody that's dealing with negativity right now, my advice would be to you is, don't let negative things destroy you as a person. Find the positive qualities that you have in yourself and love yourself, right? Have an appreciation for yourself. And also just look at it from a certain standpoint, like who's putting that negative energy in the air? Who is doing it, right? And sometimes it may even cause you having to step away from the individuals that you may have been cool with for a long time. Like sometimes, misery loves company. Sometimes you have to step away from those familiar territories in order for you to step into your purpose, right? I think about when I moved from Mississippi to South Carolina. I didn't know anything about South Carolina. I didn't know anything. I haven't even been this far east ever, but I had confidence in myself, and there were times where people would tell me, oh, you're making a mistake going, oh, you don't know anybody there. But me moving here, I end up gaining so much. So sometimes, those negative thoughts aren't always the best thoughts to follow. Sometimes you got to follow your heart. Sometimes you got to follow your instincts, and sometimes you got to step out on faith and dare to be brave. A lot of us stop doing certain things because we're afraid of the outcome. Like we think that we're going to fail, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. It's okay to, try out for things and it just may not pan out. Doesn't mean that that's not your destiny. It just means maybe you need to fine tune something to polish it up. But don't ever let anybody's negativity destroy you. Don't let anybody's negative thoughts, creep up into your mind and make you second guess yourself. You should have the confidence in yourself. Should have confidence in your ability, and you'll be able to overcome those things. All right. So don't let negative thoughts consume you. All right. That's one feeling, one view that I have. And shouts out to everybody that's here once again. This is, we're talking about negativity. How do you deal with negativity for those that are here? Needed to hear this message. Yeah, I think we all just, sometimes we just need to hear. Sometimes, it's good to like be able to say these things out loud. Like I'm not one of those people that just try to pretend. Like I allow negative thoughts like to make me second guess my whole entire future, my whole entire life. And there are times where, I still have to kind of sit back and allow, and really process things and just make me think, and think about, how does that really make me feel? Like, am I going to care about this thought an hour from now, 2 hours from now, a day from now? You really have to, honestly, you have to talk to yourself. You have to talk to yourself sometimes and be able to come to those level of conclusions. Like I said, it's not easy. Like I'm not going to sit up here and say that negative, energy doesn't affect me, but I try not to let it do it. And I when it does, I just try to talk to myself and try to figure out, is it that important? And 9 times out of 10, it turns out to not be uh that important. First time I've been able to on in a while, and I love this talk. Chanel, thank you, man. Shouts out to Chanel, man. Chanel, Chanel, she's a nurse. She's been checking out, State of the Saints for a long time, but I like the adventurous spirit, man. Shouts out to Chanel. I like following her on social media. She's always out hiking and like she living her life to the fullest, man. So, and shouts out to you. That kind of stuff right there, that's motivation as well. You may not know that, but it is, to see someone like really enjoying life, really enjoying the outdoors. And I mean, just some of the scenery that you see on those hikes that you do is just absolutely unbelievable. So shouts out to you. Let's see. I'm all about being positive and looking on the bright. Needed to hear this. Yeah, you got to look on the bright side of things. Like especially like when you look at social media, when you look at the news. I mean, there's so much negative things going on. And you might find yourself wondering, like, man, what are positive things at? Where are the positive things going on in life? And
Sorry, something's not right. Wait a few minutes and try setting up again. You
but
can
it
also try unplugging the device and plugging it back in.
I should really unplug that Google Mini. But anyway, yeah. I mean, you have to understand that those are just certain moments. There are so many great positive things that you can actually, look at. Like your life, for example. Anytime you get up in the morning, it's an opportunity to be great. It's an opportunity to do something that you didn't do on yesterday. It's a second chance for you to do something spectacular. No matter how bad this yesterday was or the day before, like when you wake up in the morning, you can always correct that. And no matter what's going on in the world, there's always positive things going on. So don't let the negative stuff like influence you. My also another thing that I would say is surround yourself with positive people. Sometimes like you need people to be able to encourage you to speak positive light into your life, because even though you might be a strong friend, you may know what to say, you may be that friend that everybody call, right? Man, I'm having a problem with my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my wife or my husband. Like you may be that person, right? But um like you got to surround yourself with positive people too, because there's going to be a moment where you may feel weak, you may feel down. And what do you do when you're the strongest friend? Like what do you do? Like what do you do when you're the strongest friend? Like so it's good to surround yourself with positive people where you can encourage one another and reinforce positivity in each other's life. So sometimes like it's a matter of once again moving away from those negative influences. It might be a relationship that you had for a long time, but when you think about it, it may not be good for you. It may not be in your best interest, or it may like even stunt your growth. Like you might have intentions or ambitions to go further than the people's eyes can view, but you might be stuck or stagnant around people that just continuously put you in that same position. So sometimes you got to step out and maybe move yourself from those type of influences, and in order for you to embark on the positive aspect of your life. Hi TJ, always great to see you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thanks TJ. You're forgetting to put the RA after the word. Oh, let's see. We don't stop see the small things that really mean the biggest beautiful things in life. Yeah, because life sometimes tell us that great things come in such huge packages or yeah, huge presentations. Like sometimes the small things in life is the things that should matter most. Like having people that actually love you and care about you. Like I think we take that stuff for granted all the time. Like we take those type of things for granted. Like telling somebody you love them, telling somebody you appreciate them. Like those little small things mean a lot. Because sometimes like when you're down, that may be the thing that kind of picks you up. When I'm down or I'm not feeling my best, or I'm not feeling as confident, I think about my wife and I think about my son, two people that love me, and count on me to be there for them. And that kind of stuff like encourages you, like the little small things I may think about my wife telling me she loves me, or my son giving me a hug or something. Those are the type of things that kind of pick you up in moments. Like people think, when they look at breakthroughs or certain things, they feel like it has to come like, like something that just slaps them across the face. But in reality, it can come in little small spots, but they can be so small sometimes that we don't even realize it. But if we just take the moments to kind of look, You ever like search your house or something like that, and you're looking for something, and you're checking all of the big places where it's like wide open, and then all of a sudden, like you look in the corner and there it is. Like that can be your breakthrough. That can be your level of happiness. That can be something that you need to be searching for. And sometimes it can be right there in your face, but you pass it up so many times looking for the big moments. Sometimes those small moments and those small things are the starting point for us to find the bigger purpose in our life. So don't ever minimize like breakthroughs. Don't ever minimize your happiness. Don't ever minimize those things, because those things are huge, for your growth, for your development, and things that you're going to need to move on. I'm telling you, it's going to come a time where you are going to probably feel low, and you have to think about those individuals that mean something to you, the little advice that there was given to you along the way. Those things go a long way, trust me. Now I'm going to dump all my problems on TJ from now. Will sure make things easier for me. Well, look, that's what this podcast is all about. This podcast is about saying how you feel, and and finding solutions. Or just little moments where you can just kind of just take a deep breath. Like I say, when you're dealing with life, the everyday hustle and bustle, it can get tough. It can get tough, and especially like when you feel like nobody understands you. That's the worst, right? Like, and that's when negativity can creep up, when you feel like you're all alone, because those thoughts and those views can jump you like some guys in the alley, right? You walking down a dark alley, and all of a sudden here come that negativity just jumping on top of you, right? Coming through with stiff shots, and baseball bats. It feels that way, right? All the pressures of the world is on you, right? So sometimes you feel like you're all alone, and sometimes you can feel alone with a room full of people, right? For real, like you can be around a whole bunch of people and still feel alone, right? And feel like nobody understands. But that's why I created this podcast. That's why I love about it, right? We can vent and talk about these type of situations. Staying positive is the best thing. Every day you turn on the news is always negative. Yeah. But that's the thing. You got to be able to find happiness somewhere, because some great analytical guy decided to come up with a theory that people are attracted to negative things. That's why, honestly, like if you go on social media, you normally see people fighting, or you see somebody, getting hurt seriously, or those are the most of the things that we are drawn to. But if somebody like rescuing somebody from a burning building, or donating money to a worthy cause, like it might have less views than that, because I guess people just come to the conclusion who that person think they is, or they just did it for attention. Like, even those negative thoughts can come up, but there's so many positive things in the world if you just stop and just take a look at it. But like I said, the attention to negativity is always there, but there are always positive things going on in the world. And if you don't believe me, you're actually here right now, right? So that's positive. You're able to type if you're commenting, you're able to listen, right? You're able to look. Like these are things that we take for granted every single day. Like we wake up in the morning, we wash our face, we brush our teeth, we go up throughout our life, we go to work, like we get in our car like effortlessly, right? We go to work, we drive. How many cars do we pass? How many times do you pass on the road and you see accidents, right? And you're like, dang, that could have, that's pretty bad. But you don't think about, hey, a few more feet or a few minutes later, I could have been involved in that. We don't think about those things. We don't think about the positive aspects, because it's become so natural to us waking up in the morning. Well, if you look around the world, I'm guarantee you there's somebody out there that family member didn't wake up, or they didn't wake up. Like, so the things that we take for granted every single day are things that we should look at as being positive. But we wake up in a negative mood. Like, how do you do that? Right? Regardless of what happened on yesterday, it's still a second chance for you to right the wrongs. So those are things that we take for granted every day. I know I do. I take that for granted, right? You know, Sometimes my wife, she gets up in the morning, she leaves, she goes to work, and sometimes I forget to tell her I love her, right? But Those are the things that you can take for granted sometimes. And we should never take life for granted. We should never take moments for granted. And we should appreciate those moments because, you can never have them back. I feel you, TJ. Sometimes it's hard to be the bigger person and walk the way of the water, but people sometimes just bring it out of you, and it seems it won't stop until you make an example. But I'm trying. Well, chosen. Look, here's the thing. Deep down inside, I just say this, man. People don't know you like that. They don't know you, and you should never allow people to have power over you. Okay, that's just what it is. Like when you allow people to dictate your moves and dictate your feelings, they have power over you. So it's no different between if you ever seen a street performer and he has that puppet on a string and he's moving the arms, he's moving the legs, kind of similar. And I know we don't want to think like that, but it's true. If you allow a person to have power over you, they win, right? They can dictate your mood, they can dictate your feelings, and you should never allow anybody to do that. That you should never allow anybody to use you like a puppet on a string. You know who you are deep down inside, and if you don't know, then just take the time to search. These people cannot destroy you. There's nothing a person can do that can destroy you through words if you know who you are as a person. I mean, look, doing podcasting, giving my opinion, what I'm saying, for the last 5 years, there are individuals that say negative things about me, but they don't, like, at the end of the day, they don't know me, right? And you can't kill my passion. You cannot kill my love for anything, right? What I'm doing every single day is what I love, and I'm passionate about it. So nobody's words can actually destroy what I'm trying to do. Nobody can say anything about me that can just completely, like, just destroy me if I know who I am inside. You have to know who you are inside and don't allow those negative forces to destroy you. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's battles that they have to go through. But don't ever be in a battle for yourself. Because you know what I'm saying, how can somebody that don't know you, that don't deal with the day to day, how can they tell you who you are? Like, how do how can they tell you who you are? How can you allow somebody to have power over you? The only person that should have power over you is God and you, right? And sometimes, like you say, our emotions get the best of us, of course. But it should never be to a point where we're out of our position or we make that person feel like they won. Like, so don't let negative don't let negative forces, like, destroy who you are, because you're the one that possesses the power, not that person. It's hard to step away from those people, for real. Familiarity is a huge enabler. Yeah, but at the same time, it's called, if I'm not if I'm not mistaken, it's called the social reduction theory, right? Like, you are what your surroundings say that you are, right? So if you surround yourself with your homeboys, your homegirls, and it's comfortable, like, it is very, very comfortable, right? Having a good friend is like having, like, a posturepedic pillow, a posturepedic bed, or a comfortable couch, right? It's familiar, you know what I'm saying? It feels good, right? To know somebody that knows you, that understands you. But sometimes they can understand you so much they know exactly what to say to push your buttons, or they know exactly what to say to you in order for you to stop doing something that you are destined to do. And misery loves company, man. Sometimes, like, you can have, like, buddies or friends, they may not have any direction going with their life. And you can be moving in the right direction. Let's just say, for example, you known for, like, dating this person, that person, or you're known for, like, kind of not having, being, like, showing initiative for certain things. And you might have grown to a point where you're actually changing. But that person will make you feel like you're that same person that probably was sitting at their house at the age of 16 or 17 years old, even though you're not that individual anymore. And if you listen to them, you'll find yourself being in that same spot. Like, sometimes, we have to move away from those things to know who we are as people. And that don't mean that you have to stop being friends with them. It don't. But sometimes you have to, like, remove yourself from the situation in order for you to grow. And in your growth, you can possibly help them to grow. because they can have a respect and an adulation for what you have created in your own life, and they may look at themselves and they be like, hey, I seen him doing it, maybe I can do it. But don't let your familiar surroundings stop you from stepping into your purpose. What is your purpose, whatever that may be. Like, some of us are still trying to find our purpose, some of us are still right there. Maybe we haven't taken that extra step, maybe we're thinking about doing that. Those are the things that we should be thinking about. But don't allow anybody to allow you to not be in, step into your purpose. Let's see. All love, TJ, best podcast on YouTube. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Positive energy always creates elevation. That's the truth. That's the truth. Many are called and few are chosen. Kingston. There is a kid who always spreads negativity at school, but I just ignore him. Yeah, look, you gotta remove yourself from negativity. Sometimes it's hard to do, right? If you're at school and you're always around that person, it may be hard, but that's when I say self-reflection comes in. You have to know who you are as a person. And I know what I'm talking about when I say this, man, because, man, I used to get picked on as a kid and talked about when I was growing up. Yeah, I was, and a lot of the things that people were saying to me, I would take it to heart. Not they made me believe that's who I was, right? And it's not always easy to do, but you have to find something deep down inside of yourself and really just come to the conclusion, like, man, I love who I am. I appreciate who I am. Like, there's nobody like me, and nobody can ever just take me out of my position. Right. So whatever negative thoughts and views that they may have out there, no, the negative energy that may be out there, you can allow yourself to be a part of it. You got to remove yourself from it. And like I said, it's a everyday struggle because you don't know what type of negativity you can kind of walk into. Like, it ain't even about just out and about. Like, you can take a few minutes and look on your phone on social media, right? Or you can maybe check out a YouTube video of, what I'm saying, your favorite news channel, right? And they're saying this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And you might find yourself like being overwhelmed with the negativity. And sometimes you got to step away from it. Sometimes you got, like, breathing exercises are really important. I'm serious, man. Breathing exercises are really important, and self-reflection is really important. Like, self-reflection to me is like, if you ever cleaned out like your closet, like you're hanging up your clothes and folding them up. It's kind of like that, right? You're putting things where they need to be. Right. You know what I'm saying? The course of the week, you're in and out of your closet, you're putting stuff on the floor, you're leaving it there. Now it's like Saturday or Sunday, and it's time to put it in the closet, right? You're putting everything where it needs to go. And that's like how your thoughts and your views need to be, right? Take that moment to be able to departmentalize and figure things out. All right. So let's see, let's scroll down a little bit. You always speak truth to power. I appreciate that, man. Family, I've decided to train myself with a bunch of daily affirmations. I recorded several affirmation videos and listened to them daily. They have really helped. Man, shouts out to my wife, because that's something that she does a lot. You know what I'm saying? She kind of got on the audiobook kick. Like, she goes to work, and when she's riding to work, she puts on like audiobooks, or like different interviews and stuff like that. But like, and she always talking about affirmations. Like, when she gets Paxton, she'll tell him to say certain affirmations, like, I am smart, I'm strong, I can do anything. Those are some things that she decides to implement in her life, and that's a good start. Affirmations are very important. It's about instilling that power inside of yourself. Instilling that growth inside of yourself by speaking it out loud. Like, sometimes it's good to say things out loud instead of like keeping them inside. Sometimes you have to know what it sounds like in order for you to know what it feels like. right? You got to know what it sounds like in order for you to know what it feels like. Saying it out loud, like even some of the things that you want to work on. But as far as positive affirmations, like say that stuff out loud. Like some people, like, man, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not sure. Nah, man, speak the positive light into your life. Like whatever that positive thing is, like whatever you're doing, like even right now, like whatever what it is, like say a positive affirmation to yourself, so a quality that you love about yourself, and wear that affirmation with the arrogance of a Sean Payton. For all my sports fans out there. Let me see it stroll down real quick. Love what you're doing with these shows, TJ. A month or so back, my girl and I had a miscarriage. When I tell you, family, I've been in a real dark place. It's hard to move forward, but I'm getting there. Man, Ghost, I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. My prayers go out to you and your girl. I know that, man. I know that can be tough, but man, everything happens for a reason, whether it's positive or negative. There are things that happen for a reason, and at this tough time, man, it's important to like to focus on the positive things, like what I'm saying, like the love that y'all have for one another, and knowing what I'm saying that it don't mean that it's not in the cards, you know, for that to happen, but y'all need to lean on one another at this time, because that can be real tough. But make sure, like I said, every day that you wake up is a new day, what I'm saying, and it can be tough, and that's something that that will never truly go away. But just know, what I'm saying, it doesn't have to. You should always just kind of put that inside of your heart and continue to move and press forward. you know I mean, tragedies happen in life, and it's hard to like move on from them, but don't allow those things to consume us. Hold that, what I'm saying, hold those feelings and those thoughts, in your heart, and every day is going to get better, and better. It may not, happen overnight. It won't. But every day, just continue to press and just continue to think positive, and lean on one another, and express that love towards one another at that tough time, man. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Hard to get rid of that negativity once it attaches itself. I mean, look, I tell you what. Sometimes we carry these burdens, and I've said this on a podcast before. But sometimes we carry the burdens for others, and what I mean by that is we go through trials and we go through tribulations and we go through pain and heartbreak and disappointment for others, because you come in contact with individuals that have been through the same situation. They have been through that same level of hurt, and you're gonna know exactly what to say to them. Like sometimes I feel like God uses us as instruments for others, and it's a tough cross to bear. But when it happens, you like, I think I realize why this happened, and nobody wants to be that. But trust me, goes when I tell you, there's going to be somebody that might go through the same thing you go through, and you're going to know exactly what to tell them. And by your testimony, you're going to be able to change somebody's life. And like I said, I know it's a tough cross to bear, but somebody out there right now that's probably not even in the chat right now, that's probably going to watch this, and you probably touched by even just saying that, brother. So just know, man, that God uses us to help others in positive ways, and sometimes in tragic ways. I woke up enough times last night for all of us. Not lying about the accident, I just passed one up with a lady with small children. Had to thank God for a moment and pray for their well-being. Yeah, like I said, it's things that we take for granted every single day, and we don't even look, like we don't even think twice about it. Like doing this, like we don't even think about it, right? You can put the thumbs up, like there's somebody out there that can't do that. Like it's things in life that we take for granted every single day, and we don't have any level of appreciation for it, because it's just so natural for us, like breathing, getting up, like those things, like have those things being taken away from you, and you see how important they are. And when people like, man, I ain't got nothing, like I ain't got nothing going on. Like, you ain't got nothing going on, but what are you talking about? Like the positive things in life, you know what I'm saying? Like your activity of your limbs, the ability to go to work, the ability to have a family that love you. Like somebody right now, you go to your wife or your husband, you hug them. Like that's a blessing, man. Like you got people out there that don't have like that level of love. They searching for that. Like kids, that my son, I'm looking at him right now, that's a blessing, to have him, to be able to like him sitting up in here with me right now. Little small things that we look at and like they look small, but in reality they're huge. You know, I feel what you're saying, TJ. Every time I make a new friend, they ditch me as soon as I fart in front of them. But I'm just me, but they slander me anyway. Well, I'll be ripping them. Hey, I don't think too many people like flatulence, especially when they first meet you. Now, if you've been doing that for years and they still roll with you, hey, that's a good friend. Okay, that's Woody and Andy type stuff right there from Toy Story, right? But first impression is a lasting impression. So you might want to just kind of hold it in a little bit, until you actually, get to know them a little better. TJ, you got to clip what you just said about reaching deep inside you and post it as a short. Well, I'm pretty sure I can go back and take a look at it, but I appreciate that, man. If you feel like I should do it, I'll go back and do it. All right. Let's see. If you ain't rolling with all right, Jerry, we're not talking about sports on this one, man. We're not talking about sports on this one. We just talking about life. We talking about life and how to avoid negativity. All right, let's see. TJ, what's up, big dog? I'm at work peeping it, but what did I miss? Basically, man, this isn't the sports show. This is a therapy couch podcast. We just talking about how to avoid negativity. How to avoid negativity. All right. Thanks, brother TJ. You and as well, landlord. Fact, TJ, it's a blessing waking up in the morning. What people underestimate is not a promise. No, it's not. It's not a promise to wake up in the morning. It's not a promise to like, be able to get through the day. Like I woke up this morning, I go to work, I come back home, like I work maybe like 45 minutes to an hour from my house, right? So being able to like be on the road and being able to get back home, be able to pick Paxton up from daycare, be able to see my wife, like that, those things are like things we take for granted all the time because they, like I said, they're so natural, so natural. But it's it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be there. Even Pax is joining the conversation. Pax knows stress. Yeah, I mean, he knows stress and he knows how to give stress. Like, what are you doing right now? Can you sit down, sir? Can you sit down in that chair? Yeah, so you know how to give stress as well as talk about it. Trust me, every day with him can be a little bit of a stressing moment, man. Some of y'all know I'm talking about, man. If you ever had a 3-year-old kid, a toddler, they're into everything, you got to keep your head on the swivel. But look, I wouldn't change it for anything. The best thing in the world, man, to me is like being a dad. Even like some of the good days and some of the days where I just be like, hey man, I think I need a moment for myself. But yeah, every day is an adventure, man. Every day is an adventure. And you definitely got to stay positive. Definitely got to stay positive raising a 3-year-old kid. No, sir. No, sir. Come here. Come over here. Hmm. But anyway, let's see. To me, Roman Reigns is one of the most inspiring people ever. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, everything that he overcame, for us, like, overcoming leukemia. I mean, he had it when he was young, and then it came back, and then he got into remission again. Yeah, he's a positive guy. Like I know sometimes like you look at the character, but the person that he is definitely something that could be inspiration. Let's see. Won't be talking about, like I said, we're not talking about anything that's related to sports on this one. So I apologize, but we'll be back at that at a later date. Yeah, but I'll go ahead and open up the line. Feel free to chime in. We're talking about negativity, okay? We're talking about negativity and ways that you can, how do you avoid negativity? And something in that nature, okay? So that's what we're talking about on this episode, right? So let's see. Do you know who Big Herc is? Yeah, I know what that is. I know what that is. Let's see. I think I pretty much went through it. So I just put the link down there. So if you want to talk about negativity and ways that you try to avoid that, feel free to chime in. All right, we're gonna go to Josh. Josh, how you doing, man?
Well, am I with you?
Yeah, you're here. How you doing?
I'm sorry, I had like three YouTubes going at once. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Um, so negativity. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
give me 1 second. I got something going here.
All right, no problem. I'll go to Mike. All right. Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, but if y'all didn't see my comment, yeah, there's this kid. His name is Preston.
I don't know what's going on. Mike, you having a little issue with your microphone, man. You having a little issue with your mic, so I'm gonna go back to Josh on that. Josh, how you doing, man? Mike, you was having a little issue, man. We heard like a buzz or something with your microphone, so I apologize for that. But Josh, what were you saying, man? I'm sorry.
Okay, so I want to. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, so I want to say, and I mean, I know I said this in the chat, but
Mm-hmm.
the daily affirmations I created for myself, and I've got 4 binders full of them.
Okay.
Now there's only one affirmation on each page because the idea is to just focus on one at a time.
Right.
Um, have really been a big help in washing away negativity, especially negativity from my past childhood, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not one to blame my past for where I am now, but your past really does have an effect on where you are now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with
Because
that. I agree
you know,
with
there's
that, man.
because you if you're beating yourself up in your subconscious all the time,
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to live to the full potential that you're supposed to live to. So I've been on this self improvement journey where I'm doing these daily affirmations every day and meditating and just getting myself past some old fears. I do something to face fear every day, at least one thing.
Right.
Now, it might not be anything huge. It might just be a little small thing, but it's something
Right.
so that I can get myself mentally and honestly, personally and financially to where I want to be.
Hmm.
Now, here is my advice when it comes to daily affirmations, and I figured this one out the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
What a lot of people do when they're having self-esteem issues and they hear about daily affirmations is they go to the internet and they pick out, I don't know, like 10 random daily affirmations that they saw on the internet. And it'll usually be something generic like, I will make sure I learn something today, or I am a good person, or whatever.
All right.
And those affirmations usually work for a couple days, but they kind of sour after a while.
All right.
And then after a month, they stop working because they're just generic. So people get to thinking that affirmations don't work. No, affirmations are very powerful, but the key is you have to develop your own stuff that's personal to you. Like a lot of the affirmations in my binders are stuff you wouldn't understand because they're personal to me, right? Now, there's some things you would understand, but you have to tailor your affirmations to you and things you can actually possibly believe about yourself. If you're a 5'6" guy, you cannot write out a daily affirmation that says, I'm a 7 foot tall basketball player. And no matter how many times you say that, that's not going to be true, right? So
Right.
you have to find what works for you and what speaks to your soul. And then once you do, that's what you hit on. And that's how you make daily affirmations work. But once you do find that, I'm telling you, I'm going through it right now. It's really incredibly powerful stuff.
Hmm.
And so that's how I've been dealing with, like negativity, both in my daily life and just getting rid of a lot of the negative. I know this is probably not the direction you wanted to go,
Nah,
but
nah,
I,
nah. It's we any way that you find ways to try to eliminate negativity in your life. I mean, guys, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Like everybody uses certain practices in order for them to eliminate things differently, and by using those affirmations, that's your way to eliminate that. And I definitely agree. when you're talking about with the affirmations, the biggest issue is people find affirmations, but they're not living by them. It's more about sounding like, like you just got everything together versus actually trying to get something together. Like you might just see a good affirmation, but are you trying to live by it? Have you absorbed that? Have you accepted that into your life? And are you going to take that with you on a daily? And most
Right.
people, they're more focused on what other people think about the affirmation they put out more so than them actually accepting what the affirmation is saying.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's a great way of putting it. I would have never even thought to put it in those words, but I absolutely agree with you. Now, I mean, it's totally okay to start with generic affirmations when you're first getting started.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is to get deeper into it, just kind of the same way when you start a job as, say, a car salesman, right?
Mm-hmm.
They hand you a word for word script to read when a customer walks in, right? If the
Right.
customer asks you this, say exactly this. That's how you're supposed to start, but eventually you're supposed to like start putting some of your own soul into it and develop your own style.
Right.
And it's the same with affirmations. And so I'm telling you, they have helped me. And I've got a long way to go. I got a lot of stuff to work on, but they have helped me a great deal from the internal mental perspective side of things. I can't even put it into words.
That's great to
You know,
hear. Man, that's great. That's great, man. Like, I think affirmations are so important because the ones that we find, are supposed to define us. It can be things that we want to speak into our life where we aspire to be, or they can be things that we feel like we are at that particular time. And it's very important. Like I said, saying things out loud are so important than actually just keeping them inside. Like I just feel like it's almost like a good song or something like that with a good beat. Like you might hum the beat, but it probably won't have as much impact as you actually singing the song or a hum, humming a beat out loud where you know what I'm saying you can actually just accept it. And with those affirmations, I feel that you need to say those things out loud, write those things down where you can actually see them in order for you to be able to keep that and carry that with you. Because I mean, sometimes you need to be able to reinforce certain things that you come in contact with, or even thoughts that you have. Like, you ever just had like a bad day, you think about all the some negative things, and maybe you need that affirmation to kind of keep you warm from these negative thoughts that you have. So I think adding affirmations is a great step in order for you to like eliminate negativity. I think that's a good idea, man.
And I can tell you, like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, there has never been a day where reading those affirmations hasn't helped me. They might not always help me at the moment I'm reading them. It's like sometimes you try to get into it and you're just not feeling it at the time.
Right.
But then something will happen later in the afternoon, something that might usually hurt your sense of self or self-esteem or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you remember one of your affirmations kicks in and you're like, oh, wait, I got this. I can handle this.
Yep.
And so like it's just an amazing thing.
Right.
But hey, before I let you get to the next call, I wanted to tell you something, man.
Mm-hmm.
The big Herc I'm talking about, I want you to check out his channel. He's a former prisoner. He spent 8 years in federal prison,
Right.
but he's now a motivational speaker and he now helps people and stuff.
Right.
He's got some really good stuff. The Big Herc 916 channel.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that who you're talking about, or are you
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about?
No, that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
That's what I was referring to.
Okay, you already know who he is then. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, check his stuff out because he's really good. But yeah, man, I guess that's all I got for you. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I thank you for that, man. And I know there's somebody out there right now that's probably going to heed that advice. Affirmations are extremely important, and I'm glad that you're applying them to your life and they're paying dividends, Josh. So appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, having affirmations, like being able to claim like certain things, like speak those things into existence, like are extremely important. Like they're extremely important. So we're gonna go to Mike. Mike, how you doing, man? I think you got on mute.
Alright.
All right, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm doing good. But yeah, back to the story that I was telling. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I saw my comment, you would know this, but there's this kid, he's in my school,
Mm-hmm.
and it started sometime, I think, late last week.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Wednesday, I'm not sure though,
Mm-hmm.
but it was either Tuesday or Wednesday,
Right.
maybe Thursday, I lost count. But Uh, yeah, so I said I was talking to another kid, all right, and this was
Mm-hmm.
a completely different kid.
All right.
And I said I was going to the Saints game, and you know what this kid said? The
What?
other kid,
What do you
no
say?
one asked. First of all, young fella, no one asked you to speak, okay? So shut your mouth because I'm talking to somebody else. No one asked you to speak, first of all. And second of all, you're always saying mind your own business. You did that twice in one day. And here's the other. So I said, I need your pencils because I was collecting pencils at the end of the day. He also said, no one asked. Dude, are those the only two words that you know how to speak? Like,
Uh,
shut your mouth. Like, shut
Mike, it sounds like to me like, and that's what I was talking about a little earlier about allowing people to have like that level of power. Like he knew that they kind of push your buttons.
Yeah,
And
man,
when
I just acted like he didn't even exist. I didn't even.
yeah, that's what you got to do. You got you got to make sure like you act like he doesn't exist. Look, if you're going to a Saints game, look, that's cool. Like if I'm in your class and you're like, "Hey TJ, I'm going to the Saints game." Like a part of me like, "Really? I wish I can go." So maybe when you said that it made him feel a little envious of you. You know, like and he probably didn't want to hear it, but
Yeah.
like I said, it's very important that you not allow people to kind of push your buttons and ignoring them may be the best thing to do. Because if you don't, then they're gonna continue to do it because they feel like, oh, I know how to make Mike mad. I'm
Yeah.
about to make him upset. So it's about being able to have control of the situation and not allowing people to have control over you. So next time that happens, I say ignore him or just don't even worry about it because
Yeah.
if you don't, then he's gonna try to do it again and try to push your
In
buttons again.
fact, that reminds me of something. So one time, speaking of going to the Saints game, one time we were playing football in the yard for recess,
All right.
and he was on the opposite team, and we have scored a touchdown, and he said it's just football. But when y'all scored a touchdown, you were happy. Like, shut your mouth. No one wants to hear from you, you know? Like, dude, shut your zip up. Shut your zip up, flipper.
Yeah, but Mike, look, don't allow those people to get to you, man. Like you're a good kid. You got positive things going in your life. You went to the Saints game. That's exciting, man. And don't let anybody take that away from you. And don't let anybody like make you feel like what you feel like is important isn't. So don't allow that. Like just ignore it. Like move on, and always like look deep down inside and know who you are as a person. Don't let anybody like try to make you upset or try to take you out of your position, man. So next time that happens, just ignore him like you've been doing. Don't allow him to like get you upset because once again, like what's going to happen is he'll try to do it again. So don't let anybody take take your power away from you,
Next
man.
year, because that's why I'm going to go to the Saints game, and it's gonna be next year since I went to the Saints game on Sunday.
Right.
I have to go to one home game a year because I ain't
Mm-hmm.
doing all that traveling.
Right. Well, look, next time you be like, I'm just kidding when I say this. If you go to you go to the Saints game, you like nobody cares. Be like, hey, so tell me when you going to the Saints game, so I can come, so I can see you when I get there. But
if I was a mean person, I would have said no one cares about your existence. But I'm not mean, so I didn't say that.
I'm just kidding, man. Like, look, whatever it just makes you happy, it makes you happy, and don't let anybody take that happiness away. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, man. I got some more calls to get to. You take it easy, okay?
All right.
All right. Yeah, man. Don't let anybody take your happiness away. Look, you got some tickets to Disney World. Somebody be like, man, I don't care. Like, man, when you going to see Mickey Mouse? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to see him. You know? Seriously, like you gotta like, man, people will try to take your joy and they will take it if you let them. Don't let nobody take your joy away from you, man. Whatever it is, I don't care if you went to the store and you got, you know what I'm saying, you got a Mr. Goodbar or something like that, man. Somebody like, man, nobody eat Mr. Goodbars no more. Say, I do. I eat them. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody take your happiness away from you, man. All right, we're gonna go to Chosen. Chosen, how you doing, man?
What's going on, TJ? What's going on, babe?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. Thank you for calling in, man. We talking negativity and some of the things that we try to do to try to eliminate that out of our life. So what you got for us, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, TJ, it's my fake TV show. This is my fake radio show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got set up. I know you envious. No, I'm just playing.
A
But now,
little bit, man. A little bit.
he said a little bit. Hey, man, that's all I got, man. Hey, look, I got the studio thing working, man.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. It sounds good, man. Great quality, man.
Oh no, that's the crazy part, bro. That's my phone. This just for show.
Man, okay. I'm about to say whatever it is, it sounds great.
Baby. Come on now.
If you wouldn't have told me, I wouldn't have known. So
oh yeah, man. So you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna address you in the audience. How y'all doing? I'm Chosen.
mm-hmm.
But you talking about negativity, man. So if you don't mind, I want to ask you a few questions, man, about dealing with negativity, because I know a lot of people feel like, you know, yeah, man, it's easier to say it, and sometimes the reality of it, some of us, TJ, bro, we deal with everyday people, whether it's on the job, whether it's family members, things like that, bro. And we deal with people, man, who are so envious, and sometimes they come from a dark place themselves, and sometimes you gotta ask them. Sometimes you have to be the bigger person, like you was mentioning, and trust me, I have a hard time dealing with it because, you know what I'm saying, being short, growing up being picked on, and growing up in the hood, TJ, you know, you from New Orleans. You always feel like you got that chip on your shoulder. You always got to prove you tough or you ain't hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it be situations like that. Right. You got to, I ain't no punk, because if you walk away, I'm like, oh, man. And like you said, it's the people you surround yourself with. And a lot of times when you grow up, I guess they didn't have the correct guidance. So you get accustomed to, oh, man, you gonna let them talk to you about that, man? Like, you ain't gonna do nothing? Like, you just gonna let that slide? Bro, if you don't do nothing, it's gonna keep on happening until you do something. That's why I made that remark. But TJ, sometimes you gotta set an example. But I guess it depends. I guess it depends. I ain't trying to sound. I apologize if this sounds like.
No, man. I mean, what you talking about is what people deal with all the time.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm gonna be real, bro. Like, this is everyday things, bro. Like, and it's like, when you come from a place, like, it's like you always gotta prove yourself, or you always gotta, like, you always gotta, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh well, but it's like you always gotta prove yourself, and you gotta try to show people that, look, I understand I'm a man, and you're a man, you're a person, but it's a level of respect, homie, that we gotta have for each other, or not just with that, or with that kind of confrontation. It's just the level of negativity where if you just thinking about something bad, or you thinking about something that's going on that's happened, and you having regrets. It's a lot of times, bro, where we get trapped. We get trapped in those moments, and sometimes it can send you to a dark place, bro. Like, it really can to a dark place. So people don't realize, bro, those spirits, those evil spirits, when they get a hold of you, man, I guess this is where I'm coming from a lot. It's about what you feed into your spirit, if you believe that kind of thing. You know, I can remember a time, bro, in school when, no what? Prime example, football. TJ, you played football. And you know what's them songs that get you crunk, it gets you hype. Right. That's energy. You know what I'm saying? It's with energy. Now if I go out there and I play some Jill Scott or some John Legend, we're gonna get killed. You know what I'm saying? Because we the soft, calm setting. But if I go out there and I play probably some Kodak, if I play that stand up and get some Bone Crusher, I'm ready to go out and do the thing. Right. But it's a lot of it is what we feed our spirit. Like, what are we feeding our spirit? What are we watching? Like, what type of music are we listening to? Is we listening to shoot 'em up, bang, bang, to put us in that kind of thing? And now we get to thinking about that last person that made you mad, or, man, you know what, man, this track here, I ain't naming an artist, but this track got me wanna. I'm gonna tell that dude, hey, man, don't you ever do that to me? You know, I feel like it's what we feed our spirit, and it goes along with the company we keep. It goes further with movies we watch, you know, with shows what we project into our minds. It's a lot of things that we have to gravitate around. So when y'all was talking about the positive affirmations, how about sometimes taking a break from those things that we constantly feed our spirit, and sometimes it becomes an everyday routine. TJ, becomes natural, and it becomes like self-conscious. We do it self-conscious. We don't even know we're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're so used to for years waking up, we're gonna blast this music to go to work to get you hyped, to get you feeling like, oh, I ain't for nobody's stuff today, because you always felt like you had to carry that on you. But like you say, when you stop and you listen to these affirmations, I'm peaceful. I won't let nobody steal my joy. I'm gonna have a good day today. That's something I want to start practicing, because this is my first time actually ever hearing about affirmations when on the show. So I'm new to it. So I think I need to look into, because I came a long way with my temper, and a lot. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on a podcast with you, but I want to thank you, bro. Because from a personal standpoint, I told you before I found your show, bro, I was just in a dark place. And when I just hear you just keep it going, and just keep it going, and when you finally read my comment, I'm like, oh, bro, this dude really okay. He hit me out, like he gets it, like this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some kind of, hey, I'm a firm believer. All it takes is that one person, because. You know, I was that person in the dark place, bro. So a lot of times, bro, you just have to stop and think, and like you say, TJ, bro, surround yourself with positive people, and people who know your better judgment. You don't always have to retaliate, and that's what I'm trying to teach myself day after day. That retaliation ain't always a must. You know,
right? That's man, Chosen. Look, my biggest my question would be. When you talk about, people, you know what I'm saying, and what they think, like my question is like, why? Like nobody, like I don't care who it is. Nobody knows you better than yourself.
Right.
Like when there, like, man, there's like I see negativity all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like me being a podcaster, me having opinions and voices and views and stuff like that. Like I see negativity all the time. And people ask me, like, man, you don't let that stuff get to you. It's because nobody really truly knows me. Like I get on, you know what I'm saying? Like it's impossible for somebody to destroy what they don't understand. Like you don't, like they can't destroy me, man. Like who you are as a person. You're the only person that can really, you know what I'm saying, basically destroy you. Words, can they destroy you? Like somebody tell you, like, oh man, you ugly. Like, do you think you ugly? Well, if you think you ugly, then guess what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, maybe I feel this way, but bruh, man, I'm too blessed out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, God has been too good to me for me to allow somebody's negative energy and what they're going through. Because most of the time, like, think about most of the people that come out with this negativity, it's because they negative themselves. They got problems going on in their life. And like I said, they try to take it off the negativity and try to put it on you. But I refuse to let them, because I love myself. I have an appreciation for myself. When people do that kind of stuff, that's when you have to look deep down inside of yourself and say, hey, man, look, I know who I am as a person. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know what I am. I know where I came from. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm capable of. But when you taking steps back and you going, you know what I'm saying, you sparring with somebody that's beneath you, like seriously, like that's beneath you, that don't know you from a can of paint at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you allow that person to give you, like, to possess that power over you? Like, and man, like, forget that, man.
Right. I feel like that's what frustrates you the most. It's like, bro, I know, but that's where it comes from, that maturity and that growth, and you have to be really rooted into yourself and who you are, because that's what part that pisses. I'm sorry. That's the part. You're right. That's the part that ticks you off, because you be like, I know you don't know me. I know you don't know my struggle. I've been through my past, but yet you still, which everybody's up to the opinion, but you still, I don't mind you having an opinion, but like Shannon Sharp made a reference a while back. He say, you ain't gotta respect me, but I'm not gonna let you disrespect me. Like, it's a difference. But sometimes, bro, you just have to, like you said, know who you are and realize that's just how this person is, or maybe this person having a bad day, or this person is going through it. And the reason why I'm saying it, I'm not just saying it for yeah, of course I want everybody to take heed to it, but I'm trying to convince myself, because I know
speaking out loud, saying it out loud.
It can happen. I know me. Like you said, goes back to knowing yourself. I know sometimes it gets so hard with turning the other cheek, but that comes from years and years of being, I guess you could say, picked on, or trying to, and I always feel like you have something to prove. But now as you get older, and pretty soon, man, I'm want to have kids, and I don't want to teach them that they have to respond to every piece of hate that they get. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or every piece of, like, or just because somebody thinks different than you, or just because somebody mention your name, or this, that, and the other, you don't always have to respond. You know what I'm saying? You can address. that time comes, but you don't always have to address. You just let them people do them, whatever fries they baking, whatever help you good at night. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna have that opinion about you. Their mind's already made up, obviously. So
Man,
what could you other than do you? Like James Winston said,
let them talk. Yeah, let them talk, man. Like I look, I understand. Look, I understand where you're coming from, man.
Right.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad. Like James Winston said on that podcast, he said, "Man, look, I don't care." They asked James Winston how he feel about how they the Madden and all the stuff and the 30. James Winston told him, "I don't care how they do me, as long as I do me."
Exactly.
Like and that quote I took from that. That's real, and I try to apply that. I don't care how they do me, as long as I do me. So just keep doing you, because people gonna talk regardless. Hell, they talked about Jesus right from them to the cross. Man was innocent.
Yep.
So
I mean, and that's like I said, that's the thing. Look, look, just like you, growing up as a kid, I got picked on, laughed at, left, you know what I'm saying, walked home crying, you know what I'm saying, for some of the thoughts and views. But, I mean, look, I could easily get mad because, like, sometimes, like, you see people that picked on you and stuff like that, you got older. And like, you know what I'm saying? They built like a sack of laundry, you know what I'm saying?
like, damn,
I done took right. You know what I'm saying? But look, all that stuff right there, I feel like it helped me to get to the point where I'm at right now. And like I said, man, I know who I am as a person. Like, I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. There's not a look, I don't care what anybody says. Like, man, God, like when I say for people that, you know what I'm saying, have negative thoughts, like when I say God bless them, like I mean that. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of energy right there can be put into something like so great. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't allow those type of things to get to me. And I'm telling anybody, including you, Chosen, like, don't let people that are powerless make them feel powerful at your expense. Do not do that, man. Like, you have all the power. You possess that power. Don't give people power over you, because they will take that and like I said, you will be that puppet on the string. Like, know who you are as a person, love yourself, and love yourself enough to be able to, navigate through the negativity. And as far as like all that stuff growing up as a kid and what you've been through, like, you ain't that person no more, man. Like, you didn't grow up, man. You look at yourself in the mirror, man. You know what I'm saying? You take care of yourself. You got a job. You working. Like, man, like all them negative little thoughts that, you know what I'm saying, you had as a kid, man. We way past that. It's about growing. It's about knowing who you are, and it's about affirming that in your heart and in your mind and out loud, and just saying those things that keep you positive, man. And don't let nobody negative thoughts like destroy you. Don't do it, man.
For sure. One more thing before I go, TJ. Two more things. TJ, first, I got a radio voice. You think I could do it?
I think you do it, man. You capable.
I like how you answer that question with a question. Boy, y'all media people. Y'all. And one more thing.
Man, look, you can do anything you put your mind to, man. Like, you got a lot on you got a lot to say, man. So,
and one more thing before I go. Mike, if you ever had that problem, just call your big brothers. My me and King Arthur will show up with the meme mug. We already got the shiesty man. Like what my little brother had. But that's right. That's my brother from another mother. Y'all leave Mike alone if you're watching this. Yes, he got a big brother and a couple more in this chat. Leave him alone.
For real. Leave Mike alone. For
leave
real.
Mike alone. Hashtag leave Mike alone. We started the trend. Appreciate it, TJ, man.
Chosen, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Take care.
All right.
Yeah, man. Hashtag leave Mike alone. All right. We're gonna go to Dolph. Dolph, how you doing, man?
What's up, TJ, my brother?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right, man. We talking about negativity and not allowing it to take over your life and some of the things that you do in order to avoid it.
But I've been listening, man, and just going over the topics I've been talking about, man.
I'm sorry, Dolph. Dolph, I can barely hear you, man. I can barely hear you with your audio, man.
And growing up, man.
Hold on. Hey, Dolph, man, I apologize, man. I can't hear you. I know you. We're having an issue with your audio. I'm trying to get him. Hey, Dolph, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, I'm having issues with your audio. I can barely hear you. I can barely hear you, man.
Let me get off the contact with my
Okay, all right.
brother.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna let Dolph get his audio correct because I want to make sure that I can hear what he's saying. Let's see. How's everything doing? How's everyone doing? Doing great, man. It's been good, man. Besides what we're talking about, I was at a really good festival this past weekend, right? It's called the Myrtle Beach Jazz Festival, and it's like maybe like the third time the radio station actually did it. I mean, it was great, man. It was like a real great turnout. Music was bomb. The food was bomb. They had food trucks out there, and I always like doing those events, man. I mean, it's an event that comes around like once a year, and it always has like a really good turnout. Besides that, man, just been working. I'm up for a new position at the station. I had to do a interview yesterday. So that was the second interview. So hopefully I get it, man. Hopefully I get it. And I find out something in the next couple of days. Shouts out to Mr. Greg Kent. He's the station manager. He's retiring next week, man. Man, I don't know how to feel about this, man. I'm kind of emotional because the man taught me so much. Like I was so raw as a radio personality when I first got to WLGI in 2017. And he taught me so much, man, about the ins and outs, how a radio station works, and and it was just a blessing. I think I came to South Carolina. I think it was just destined for me to come here because every positive thing that I had, like my wife, my son, working in radio full time, like all that came into fruition, man. So like it's been a really good week, man. So hopefully I, be able to give y'all some good news around next week. Hopefully, I'm saying, I get that job and be able to help and assist with the radio station and take it to the next level. It's something that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, man. Anybody knows me knows I love broadcasting. I love being on the air. I love the ins and outs, of radio. It's yours, bro. Claim it. You got this. Well, I mean, I think I do, but we'll see. Food good, but not great like New Orleans, I bet, TJ. Nah, man, look, we talking about food trucks, man. I mean, you got some people out there that can fry some fish. Look, I can tell you like this, right? So my wife, she was out there, and I always enjoy this because anytime like I do like remote events, and for those that don't know what a remote event is, it's like live on location, right? So anytime I can do a remote event and I can have my wife and my son out there, it's always fun. And sometimes they hit or miss. Like sometimes like my wife will come out there and it may not be as exciting, right? It's exciting to me because I'm on the air talking about it. But if you're just a person just out there, like, okay, I already been here, already been there. But anyway, she goes to the food truck and she gets I want to say a seafood platter, right? So she get this fried lobster tails and fried shrimp and all that kind of stuff there, right? So I can tell when something is really good when my wife doesn't ask me, do I want some? Like seriously, like that's when I know something is good. Like she ate like the whole entire plate, then offer me not a thing. All right. So that's how I know the food was good. Now, if it's okay, like she'll probably like offer me like maybe one piece. If it's not that good, and she knows she probably not gonna eat the whole thing, that's when she like, look, take all you want. But they have like food trucks out there. They had like seafood. They had people out there selling different type of cakes. Paxton loved this little this icy place. It was like they was like snow cones, but they were just shaped like ice cream cones or whatever. But I mean, all in all, man, the food was good. Hey, we even ran into the doctor that actually delivered Paxton out there. So everybody was out there. When I say everybody was out there, everybody was out there. So yeah, by God's grace, you will get it, TJ. I appreciate that. Let's see, my audio suspect, TJ. I apologize to you and the family. No problem, no problem. No problem, man. No problem. Let's see. If it's good, she won't share. Yeah, man. Why y'all do that though, Dana? Like for real. Like why y'all do that? Like if it's good, like why we can't share? But if it's good on my plate, let me tell you something. Let me get some of that. Right? Are you grabbing my fork? Why did it do that, man? I don't understand why. Like y'all want us to share, right? Yeah. Y'all won't share nothing. Let's see. Look at TJ, man. So inspirational, man. Look, that's what the show is all about. It's not just me, man. It's individuals that are sharing their stories that's making this podcast what it is, man. Never thought I'd see this. Wow, just sub to this channel a few days ago. So this is great to see. Yeah, but I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you for being here. Appreciate you for subscribing. And it says, what can I do at work to make people stop making me agitated? Look, I don't look. I'm Andy. I'm not sure what you do, but one thing that helps me is like breathing exercises or kind of removing myself from the situation for a moment, or preparing myself mentally before I go to work. See, I think the biggest issue that we have sometimes is for us expecting the worst, right? Like we go into work like, oh snap, man, here come that person right here. They're gonna be getting on my nerves today. The boss gonna be telling me to do this, or they gonna want me to do that, and I ain't got no time for it. So you already got yourself worked up for the worst case scenario. So the best thing for you to do is kind of like get yourself centered, right? And once you do that, I just feel like you will be able to process what people are telling you. So those moments where you become agitated or frustrated, they won't feel as bad, because you're already kind of got yourself centered. Like people will get on your nerves if you let them. Like seriously, like it all starts with us allowing these things to happen. That's why I want people to understand. Like nobody can make you do nothing. I know somebody that's watching this right now has said this one time or another. Can't nobody make me do nothing. But do you believe that? Like, do you believe it, or is it like a cliche? Right? Is it something that you actually believe and you're serious about? Or is it just something that just everybody says? Nobody can make you do anything, right? It's all about power. If you haven't learned anything or heard anything from this podcast, remember, you have the power. You have the power to allow a person to make you angry. You have the power to step out your position. Nobody can nobody make you do anything you don't want to do. Right? Now, sometimes, like if we're not thinking logically, we can jump out of our skin. But that just all comes back with understanding yourself. And sometimes, we do make mistakes. Sometimes we get angry and we may say things that we can't take back, but that's where it comes in, like really understanding yourself and not allowing individuals to make you come out of your position. But my thing is like, don't expect the worst. Like negative energy is created by even more negative energy, right? I talk about the power of something called synergy, right? So when I was in college, I minored in theater, and when I, do a little play, deliver your lines, the next person deliver their lines, right? So if a person line is to say something with aggression, right? Why did you do that? That's going to cause the other person to say, what do you mean? Right? So that's like you being on the same wavelength. When it comes to negativity, when a person is trying to be negative, like, what I'm saying, that particular energy can cause you to be negative yourself. But it takes a one person, what I'm saying, to realize, like, is it worth me getting upset about? Is it worth me being frustrated? And especially if it's something that always happens. Like, if it always happened, like, what are we mad about, right? You know what I'm saying? If it always happens, right? So if you go into work expecting the worst, most likely, like I said, it's going to happen. But what I'm saying, if it's like the person and that's just who they are, like they're not going to change. So why is it that you're allowing them to make you upset? So I think a lot of the anger comes from us not being able to change a person's view or change a person's feelings. But guess what? Just like a person can't change your feelings and views about yourself, you can't do that about them until they actually do some soul searching on their own, right? But you can't help them until you help yourself, right? So that would be the advice that I have for the individuals out there. Let's see. I think I already read everything, and gotta protect my energy. Yeah, I mean, you gotta do that. And like I said, it's not easy. I ain't about to sit up here and like, man, I got everything together. Man, I get mad. Man, my wife, my wife, what I'm saying, like she'll tell you, like some things, like I get upset about, shouldn't even really be upset about. it's something that you constantly practice, and it's nothing like it's not going to be something that you I just got this thing figured out. Like, man, miss me with that. I know they be having these motivational speakers up there talking all slow. Yes, I got everything together, and you can too. You know, I want you to do all that. Look, man, forget all that. Like, live like you have a child, you're in a relationship. Like, it's just a matter of time before you button heads about something. So it's a constant practice, right? You got to continue to practice this stuff over and over again. And sometimes you know you wake up and you might fail at it, but don't continue to fail at it. Understand your shortcomings, realize that, and then try to address those things. Don't just try to leave your emotions and feelings where they are and be like, well, that's just the way I am. Now, some things I feel like you have to keep in order to make yourself you. You don't want to be like anybody else, right? There are certain nuances about you that makes you who you are. So you shouldn't want to lose that, right? But there are certain things that you're going to have to change in order for your relationship to work, your mental health to work, your friendships work. Like, it's going to be some things that you need to change. And you know, one thing a person might say, man, I don't want nobody to change me. Ain't nobody changing me. Like, sometimes we need to be changed. Sometimes we need to be transformed in order for us to step into our better self. So it's up to us. That's why I say, you know, go back to the top of the show, looking in a mirror and realizing who you are as a person, understanding what you can do with and what you can do without. That would be my advice to you. So we learned about affirmations on this episode. We talked about not allowing people to have power over us, right? And we also learned about having, you know, practicing you know, the positive outlooks about ourselves, right? So hopefully those things that you can obtain and hold on to and practice, right? And like I said, it's not easy, but just take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And I guarantee you, you know, eventually you're going to be at a point in your life where you actually have a level of peace. All right, we're gonna go to Dolph. Dolph, how you doing, man?
Hey, can you hear me a little
Yeah,
better?
yeah, I can hear you just fine, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it, man.
Oh man, thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Man, yeah, man, just talking about, man, you know, when you dealing with yourself. As for me, man,
right.
one time, you know, I had my younger days, man, I had a self-control problem, an anger problem, man. Like the smallest thing,
Right,
and I would just go from 0 to 1,000, not 100,
right.
but 0 to 1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was so bad till, man, I break stuff up in my own house, but not thinking I got to replace all this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I done broke up.
Right.
I got to replace all this, but boy, I say that to say, man, it took the older gentleman, my OG, man,
Right.
to sit me down and talk to me, man.
Mm.
And what I had to do, I had to self-evaluate myself, man.
Mm.
See, the hardest thing for a person to do, man, is to critique that person that looks you back in that mirror every day. You
Man,
know what I'm saying?
that's the truth.
It's easy to look at another person and point out their flaws and what they need to do.
Right.
But when you got to be real with yourself, you got to tell yourself, you know what I'm saying? That's hard, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's something like to this day, man, I'm still working on it. And I thank God I done got better at it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And
Dolph, I mean, that's
growing up, man, what
that's
I
the truth.
came to understand was, yeah. So what I came to understand was, man, growing up, man, sometimes as a youth, we can carry stuff with us, man. You know,
Yep.
we are taught in our community, you know, it's not cool to go get help for whatever the emotions you're feeling, or for your mental
Yep.
capacity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was frowned upon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like growing up, we had that cousin who they kept in the back room. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody know what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I apologize, man. I'm driving home, man. This audio going in and out, man.
Nah,
But
it's no problem, man. I can hear you.
okay. So yeah, I said that to say, man, listen, I didn't saw a lot, I done a lot, man. But when I had to like sit down and get real with myself and deep into myself and real like, you know, sometimes it's a lot of things that I was
All
getting
right.
angry about.
All right, Dolph. Now
When it comes
I lost you, man. Now I lost you with the audio.
But some of the things I was getting angry about, man, when I calmed down, I realized it wasn't even that big, man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we just need, like you were saying about, if you wake up, if you walk into a place in the morning and you got that negative attitude already, you're like, this gonna be a horrible day, you know, this gonna be a BS day I got to deal with, you know, a-holes and all
Right.
that. 9 times out of 10, that's how the day go turn
Yep.
out, because you start your day off with negative energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what I do now, man, on my drive, I mean, to work, man, I turn the radio off, I turn everything off, man, and I take me like 10 minutes, man, just to meditate, just to breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And tell myself, you know what I'm saying? Today's gonna be a good day.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah. You got to.
And also, right, man. And also, man, like for all my young brothers and sisters out there who young and people are telling you what you can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to nobody, man.
Yeah.
It took me like one of the things I've always wanted to be was a sportscaster. So like literally 3 weeks before I started my podcast, I was sitting down talking to my wife about going to school. So my wife was like, why don't you just start you a podcast? You know? So, you know, man, you know what I'm saying? And I had people like you, Q, Hooded, you know what I'm saying? Knowing about you the one, man, and tonight. And it's just like, man, not that I'm doing it, man. I mean,
All right.
really proud of me.
Hey, Dolph, your audio going out again, man. I'm sorry. I can hear you. I can hear some of the things you're saying, but not everything. Huh? Okay. Yeah, but I mean, look, I heard a little bit of what Dolph was talking about. You know, I want to finish his story. He was talking about him starting his own sports podcast and how his wife, you know, just told him, you know, maybe, you know, you need to go ahead and start it, you know, after he told her that, you know, he wanted to go to school. But, you know, back to what he was saying, you know, it's hard to critique individuals, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your own, it's hard to critique yourself, you know, to take that real tough look in the mirror at yourself and just, you know, be honest. You know, is it, like you said, it's easy for us to do those things, but I feel like this. Okay, so if you ever seen a movie 8 Mile, right? All right, so you have B Rabbit, who was played by Eminem. Then you have you know, you have Papa Doc, you know what I'm saying, who was played by Anthony Mackie, right? When it was time for B Rabbit to spit, he basically put everything out there in the open about himself. So when Papa Doc turn was like, what can you possibly say about me that hasn't already been said? Because I basically already spoke my truth. So how can anybody like destroy you if you already know the truth about yourself, right? So if you already then spilled your guts about who you are as a person, like, you know, what you represent, like how can anybody like use that against you if everybody, you know what I'm saying, if you already know who you are as a person. So you keep that in mind. But I do want to say thank you all for checking out the Therapy Couch podcast. Appreciate that. Shouts out to everybody that chimed in, everybody that commented. Thank you all so much. You know, this is a weekly podcast. We're going to get back into it. Want to thank the fine folks at Wisdom, you know, for allowing the Therapy Couch podcast to be a part of their platform. I'm really excited about that. They are very selective about the podcast that they select, so it's an honor to have a podcast that we just started with, man, and they're willing to pick that up, man. So shouts out to everybody that checked out the Therapy Couch podcast. Subscribe to the channel, which is youtube.com. Search Therapy Couch podcast, and also you can check it out on Anchor FM as well. Till next time, be happy and be healthy.